All right, guys, welcome to another episode of 40 and Fit, where we take a deep dive into the male mind on the verge of a midlife crisis.
Today fresh out of males this week, though.
Fresh out of males, unfortunately. Like there's just not enough of them to go around, apparently. So we're on episode 28, 29,
10 of season 2,
30.
Sure.
Episode 30. To my right, we have our main man, Dave Kalari.
Hello.
And I'm John Baruch. And behind the scenes, we're missing our boy Phil, aka Cliff. But to replace him, we have Nick, new guy Nick. Yeah, he's waving. There's no camera on him. That's cool. Behind the mic there, we also have Andrew. We don't usually shout them out. I think we have to do it more often.
We can.
I think we have to.
That way they're like, who just busted in with laughing? And
right, I know. Who's always like throwing things out there and drops a stupid bomb. It didn't even work right. So we got Andrew back there producing and developing this whole thing. Today's guest is a very special one. All right, so a little behind the scenes things. You are a executive assistant at BET.
Don't forget her name.
No, we're gonna say that.
All right.
You ruined the flow, man. You killed it off. Well, yes, am I correct?
Yes.
And you're also the owner of Tia's Housekeeping.
I am.
Yeah. So today's guest is Laura Valencia. Did I say it right, or is it Laura?
Depends.
Laura?
Are you saying it in English? It's Laura.
It's Laura.
In Spanish, it's Laura.
Got it. So there's supposed to be.
Do you want to try it?
Laura.
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 Okay.
Wait,
It was good.
So you're Filipino, so that should be.
I'm American first. I was born in America. I'm American first, Filipino later, man. I've been to the Philippines once my entire life.
They're like, get out.
It's a far trip.
It is.
I heard.
It's 28 hours, man.
Yeah.
It's no fun. But anyways, as it is.
By
So,
rowboat.
so Laura, we're going to dive into your business because we're really curious about how you are ending your fitness journey along with this. Because there's a lot of things that, they sent me some information on you and I wanted to really follow up with it.
Sure.
So first things first, tell us about how you got started in Tia's Housekeeping. That was a big one because I was like, Tia, oh, auntie.
Auntie. Oh, I'm
And then I
glad
looked at the website and I was like, oh, shoot, I got it right.
you got it right.
So I was like,
I'm
okay.
actually very happy that you got it right
Yeah.
the first time because I always have to explain this. So, Tia in Spanish means aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So this business was based off of my aunt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my aunt has been in my life, my whole life.
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning, yes. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, like you, I came from another country. So, I was born in Dominican Republic. So, I grew up with my aunt, well, obviously my parents, but my aunt was a big part of my life growing up.
Cool.
Years later, we're here in the United States, and she's very talented in cleaning. And I know a lot of people don't look at cleaning as a glamorous job, but that's really her talent.
It's an essential job.
When
Yeah.
I hear that, I think like Harlem Globetrotters type stuff. Like she spins the broom on her finger,
Right.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
there's
does
special techniques to doing
does
certain
the whistle
things.
music while she's doing dishes.
Very talented. Okay.
She's good at what she does.
Okay.
And she had cleaned my mom's house for years, to the point where she was cleaning all of our houses, like family members, and I started recommending her to friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, was she doing it for your family for money? Or was
Yes.
it just, hey, I'm just going to do it as a
Well,
favor
I think in
because
the
I'm bored?
beginning, no, I don't think she was bored. I just think in the beginning, like, it's just what she did at home.
Okay.
And then she started doing it for other family members for pay.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened in the beginning, but
Okay.
I just know that eventually I was able to refer her to friends.
Okay.
And that kind of sparked something in me, like an idea. And I said, okay, well, she's good at this. Because of my administrative assistant background, I know that I'm really good at process.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What year did we start this?
You mean the cleaning business?
Cleaning business, correct.
2020, during a pandemic.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yes.
so it's brand new.
It's brand
Spanking new.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that goes into another question, but keep going.
Yeah. So the idea came to me maybe 2018.
Okay.
I did file for an LLC, but I didn't do anything with it. And it was just kind of something that we spoke about as a family. Everyone was very excited, and they were just kind of waiting on me to take initiative.
Okay.
So with my full-time job, being out of the city, I just never really had the time to sit and think and come up with a strategy on how I was going to make it happen. So the pandemic allowed me that opportunity.
Because you didn't have to go back to work.
Yes,
Yeah,
because I was
that's
working
okay.
from home.
Oh, from home. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just able to finally sit and think about how I wanted to execute on potentially launching this business.
Okay.
So, the good thing is that there was nothing to lose on either ends. Like, she wasn't necessarily waiting on me to start this. She wasn't
What was she
rushing.
doing at the meantime? Was she still cleaning, or was it just her
Yeah, she
doing
was-
stuff on the side?
She was doing stuff on the side. Again,
Okay.
I'm still recommending her to my friends. I use my products. She cleans my house.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was still doing her thing. It just wasn't official.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of, again, me turning it into something more official.
Okay.
So, as you know, you get to know me. I'm a planner in the sense that I like to get organized before I do things.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I knew that I couldn't just like rush into it and say, oh my God, like let's just go pick up some products in a room and a mop and like let me just like take you around it. That's just not how that works.
It's called pimping someone out.
Yeah, like I couldn't do that. So I had my to-do list. You have a to-do list. So the LLC was already established, although the name on there is not the same. No.
Tia's, okay.
Yeah. So for a while I was working with someone who was very encouraging and motivating, and she, a business owner herself, was just kind of guiding me through a couple things, and she was just always like just launch it, like just do it. And I was like, oh, like that fine line where you're like, I know fear is holding me back,
Oh, we're gonna go into this.
right?
Cool. Yeah, do it. Go ahead. Here's
I know
what we got.
fear is holding me back, but there's a piece that's missing. There's something here that's still not right for me to just put it out there just yet.
Okay.
So I know that the actual name of the business right now, I had to think about the name again. Like it just either someone had taken the original name or something where you had to like go, GoDaddy.com and like, search a different million hosts and names and all that. So the name that I think I initially wanted wasn't available, and then finally I was like, Dia's Housekeeping, that's what I want it to be. So again, working with this girl who I considered a mentor at the time, and we're still friends. She said she was working on my website. That's what's going on. She was helping me out with the website, and I said, she goes, Laura, I think that you have to make this different. It can't just be like any other cleaning business, and like no disrespect to any other cleaning business that's not mine.
Minute Maid or whoever else is out there.
Of course, we're gonna count on Dave to like drop names.
Molly's Maids or something like that. Is it?
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah.
Molly's Maids. That's what it is.
I don't know.
Maid service.
I don't know.
They're all garbage.
Oh my God.
But they have their own cars. That's the weird part.
Slap a
That-
sticker on
that's
a car.
actually-
doesn't make
that's
it a
actually,
good
like,
business.
It's a marketing thing.
It's actually good. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It's
gym
it's
guys.
it's a marketing thing.
marketing.
Or like what are those guys that do moving hunks?
Oh yeah, junk. Yeah,
Junk for your
club,
hunk
junk
or
club.
something.
Something like
Hunks,
that,
junks?
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
ruining this right
Hunks
now.
for junks, junks for hunks. No, that's not right. That was
I don't
pretty-
know the name,
that
but
was pretty good.
it's the same concept.
Okay.
Hunks junk.
So I said,
That's the other one.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
that's the R-rated one. So I said, what do you mean? And she's like, like you like there's a story here that you need to tell. You can't just
Okay.
you can't just again, you can't just be like another cleaning business. Like, what makes your cleaning business special? So she challenged me in that way to think outside the box and to kind of dig deeper into my story. Like, where did I come from? Why was this so important for me to do, for my aunt, but for myself? And through that question and being challenged by her in that way, I came up with like my story. So I wrote about Tia's Housekeeping.
I'm a big fan of this lady, whoever she is.
Oh, she's amazing.
She asked you all the right questions.
You're talking about the other girl. Yeah. She's great. I'm upset that I can't pinpoint or kind of give you her official title, but she's definitely a waymaker for me. Like, she definitely put things in perspective and gave me the kick to think outside the box and question, like, what am I really trying to do here? Like, this needs to be bigger than just a cleaning company.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, I came up with our about. And I just want to say that, when you're starting a business, like, I have no idea. I just knew that I knew how to like do schedules, because that's what I do for work. And I knew that I kind of had an idea of what it took to initiate a business, like an LLC and, an official name and whatever else came with that. Like, I feel like I'm around enough people that I picked up a few things, let's just say, So, where am I? So I came up with, our about, and then, to me, it's about helping women like my aunt.
Okay, it's better. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like I mentioned before, I was born in Dominican Republic. I was always surrounded around a lot of women. Like, my parents were both in the picture, but there was always a lot of women in and out of our houses. Like, because I would be from like my grandmother's house on my mom's side to my grandmother's house on my dad's side. And although these women weren't, like college graduates or, out there in the world working or like business women, they were really good at being housemakers, homekeepers, or,
They were hard workers in their own sense.
Exactly.
Of where it's not exactly
Yeah.
the executive out there.
Exactly.
Not your regular 9 to 5 hardworking type
Yes.
person. Got it.
And I thought it made me go there, made me think like, wow, because at the end of the day, it didn't matter what was going on in our lives. We still had food on the table. We still had a clean home, and our clothes was always clean too. Like, the house was kept.
Yeah, keeping a house is a full-time job.
Exactly.
It really is. It's hard.
So I was like, that's what I want to embody in this business, is that when I'm sending my aunt to your house, I want you to feel like it's your aunt, your mom, that cares about your house.
Part
house.
of your family. An extension
Exactly.
Of the family. Oh.
Exactly. So, again, shout out to Karina, who actually.
Karina?
Yeah, Karina. She
I
pushed.
tried to say it in Spanish.
Well, you did a good job.
Thanks.
She definitely made me, challenge me in that way, and made me think, well, what are you really trying to do here? Because starting a business can seem very attractive, right? Like, oh, I'm a business owner. But I don't want to just brag about being a business owner because you said I can curse, right?
Yeah.
That shit is stressful.
It is.
Okay?
Just from the beginning.
Okay, that is stressful. And I just want to say, off the rip, I've cried a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? I feel vulnerable here.
You can be. It's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, it's not so easy, but when you think about the mission and the
Right.
why.
So what is the mission? Do you have it written down? Is it?
I have.
I mean, I read the whole thing. I was like, I wasn't.
Yeah,
did it
so
say mission
it's
statement on there. I don't remember.
It's basically what I just explained, is that, on there it kind of gives you like a little
There's
story.
a lot of information.
Yeah,
on there.
yeah.
I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I was like, it's
Well,
very personal. No, which is cool. No,
I
it's
have
cool.
to,
Yeah,
give you
went
some
in.
background.
You gave the background, which is
Exactly.
what a lot of people.
So basically, it's what I mentioned earlier, is that when I send my team to your house, don't think that we're gonna do some little surface cleaning, we're gonna dust off some books, and we're gonna wipe some things off. We're gonna treat your home like they treat their homes,
Mm-hmm.
where they raise their kids and their families.
They have a standard.
They have a standard,
Yeah.
and I stand behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what makes, to me, my company different than any other company. And we're going to continue talking, and you're going to have more questions for me, but I just want to point out that people are going to always encourage you to do your research and compare yourself to other companies like you, but I never did that because I knew
You were different.
that what I was offering, to me, was already different. I've never used anybody else but my aunt.
Okay.
So if you trust me in my judgment, trust me, you're gonna
Yeah,
be satisfied.
that's a huge thing.
Exactly.
That's huge. How much has the business grown? I mean, you guys obviously opened in COVID,
October of 2020.
right? And so was this a peak thing for you? Did it just explode? One of those things because people didn't how do you go to people's homes on
I
COVID?
know,
That was a hard challenge.
It was, but thank God for gloves and masks,
Right.
which were already a trend,
Mhm.
right? So going back to writing,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't like to write, but I had to start writing like COVID statements and protocols.
Yeah.
So before you booked, like there was a whole,
Yeah,
I
there's a
created
whole thing you gotta
I have a whole,
fill out, yeah.
I have a whole thing that you have to fill out. I need to make sure, have you or anyone in your house have been sick? Has anyone had gotten COVID? How long ago? Are you going to be home? Things like that. My team is going to
What's the
come.
combination to the safe?
Yeah, all of that. So I created
Wow.
statements.
She's Dominican, man. Yo.
Hey!
How much?
He's like, no, that's not a good one. That's not a good
No,
one.
no, no.
Like, what
sorry.
town are we in?
We were like, wait, where are you guys from again?
Exactly. All the towns. Is it Alpine or
Right?
or is it the Cliffs?
And we do
Very
service. We
different.
service, from Patterson all the way to Franklin Lakes
Okay.
and all around.
Wow, that is far.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's a big. So you were able to open. Right? You got your protocol down.
I got my protocol down. I must say I wasn't like scared. I thought it was like the perfect time to do something like this because I hadn't seen her in months, and I was cleaning my own house.
You're like, damn it, where's she
And
been?
I was like, oh my God, how I need her, So if I needed her, everyone else needed her. And going back to like my mission statement, I also made the business for women like me. Like I'm in my
That's
30s. I work a lot. And I don't really necessarily have the time to clean. And she facilitates that for me, like the opportunity that on the weekends I don't have to, coming off of a long week of work, I don't necessarily have to spend like hours cleaning. I know that my house is well kept,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm married. So I take pride, because that's what I learned, in having a clean home and having my laundry done, my husband's laundry done, having food in the fridge. But I'm not doing that. I have a housekeeper, I call Whole Foods, and we both do laundry. You know what I mean? So I also made the business with that in mind. Like, if I'm in this situation, I can't imagine how many other women are in the same situation.
Yeah, no, that's unique. How
I had a
big-
client this morning
Mm-hmm.
who I may have to connect you to, but he has a nanny housekeeper, but he wanted to get rid of her because he's like, she's fine with the kids, and now the kids are in school, so it's like she doesn't have that much to do, but she's like, she doesn't clean. She doesn't clean the way I want her to clean. And I was like, well, have you like shown her what you want? He's like, yeah, I've had a whole tutorial and what I want her to do, and she's just not doing it.
A whole tutorial.
However he wanted her
Oh,
to
I thought
clean
he
everything.
actually, like-
No, like she knows what to do, but it's like, this is how I want. Like I want like a spotless house, or
Yeah.
however he wants it. And they were getting ready to let her go, and they didn't, and she's still there.
Yeah.
And he's like,
He's paying for
I
something
thought
he
I was
doesn't
going to
know.
save money, and we would just kind of do our own cleaning, and now we're spending more money. And,
Still doing your own cleaning.
and we're not getting anything done. And I was
Well,
like,
he should keep her for the taking care of the kids component.
yeah, but they're like
I
in
can
school
come in and
now.
do
Like
the-
they're not even.
Oh,
they're not even
around.
like she. I don't know if she's like playing cards when she's saying like what's she doing. I don't know, playing with the kids' toys. But
Yeah.
thought
Okay,
it was-
well, send her my way.
there you go.
I'll do my best to help.
I mean, if that's the only component, you don't need the nanny part. You just need the cleaning part. Well, we don't need you for either at this point.
Yeah.
And he was like, I feel bad. I feel bad like not paying her anymore. But she's not doing the job.
Yeah.
Like her livelihood is not necessarily in your hands if she's not providing the service you want her to
Right. She's
provide.
not fulfilling the thing she said she was going to. Yeah.
But I wonder if that was explained to her in the beginning. Because sometimes you get caught up doing, like saying, I'm going to do this job. And then people, like, you grow on them and you become comfortable. And then boundaries
Yeah,
are, like,
that
thrown out
happens a
the
lot.
window.
Yeah, that happens
and
a
it's
lot.
like, oh, I saw her, like, wipe down the bathroom sink. And all of a sudden she's like, she cleans the house too. I'm just wondering.
She said something along the lines of, she's like, oh, but like I've gotten so attached to the kids. I was like, get fucked. Don't use that on me. Like you're still
That's
not.
a real thing.
It's no reason to stay on a job if you're not doing the job.
Yeah.
The-
That's what I'm curious
Well,
about.
that has to
though.
be re-explained because when your kids have gotten attached to them also, it's a difficult thing to do also. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just be like, no, you can't see her anymore. We fired her.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, you just can't.
It's like a divorce.
Right, and it's hard for the kids, and all of a sudden the kids hate you. Wow, this is just totally going through my head right now. But it's one of those things where you got to really see that, and the explanation has to happen. It's weird you can't really just have that 3 strikes and you're done type of situation with that. I mean, I've never been there. I couldn't afford a housekeeper or anything like that. So
You can. We'll talk about
Oh,
it
we
later.
can.
Talk about it later.
Yes, for my room.
You heard it here
Clean
first,
my
folks.
bedroom, nice.
I'll hook you up.
All right, so you got the whole thing going. How big did you grow this business to? Like, it's just not your aunt anymore, is it?
No, I have other people. I have other workers.
How did you get those people? Did you be like putting that on Craigslist, or did you be like,
No,
yo?
actually, I have done Indeed,
Okay. Oh,
but a lot of people from like New York applied, and I was like, oh,
I
no.
was looking for jobs, man.
Yeah, and
Like Manhattan?
yeah, like Manhattan, and I'm just like, oh, I can't hire you. You live in another state, so that's that. But just word of mouth. So
Okay.
I grew up in Patterson.
Great,
And-
great.
Yeah, P-Town. And my aunt would tell some friends, or my parents actually are business owners in the Patterson area. So, people come to them all the time looking for employment.
Okay, so you got some good connections.
Yeah, I
already.
have good connections in that aspect, which I'm very grateful for. But, they're not always necessarily like great connects. Like, I had people.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, oh,
It really is.
absolutely. But one thing that I had to overcome was just like taking it personal when it didn't work out. That was
Yeah.
like challenging for me because again, I'm in this role as like a manager, founder, CEO, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I assume that if you want a job, you're gonna stay. But that's like ridiculous of me to think, right? Like, hello. But some people didn't work out, and like I even had a girl just like flee the scene. She cleaned one house, they went to the next, and she left.
She got on the good foot.
She left.
I'm out.
She left,
She found
and
the safe.
that's what it was. She found the safe and like was
She's
out.
bounced. She's bounced.
So
She's like, I made rent. I'm good.
and that
And so
like
you said you didn't hear from her at all.
no, she blocked me.
Did you even pay her?
I wanted to. I wanted to literally have a conversation with her and say, look, this is not for everyone, and I understand that. But at least let me pay you for your time.
Right.
You didn't have to go like that. And the funny part is that she still recommends people. And they're always like, hey, we came through so-and-so. I'm like, I'm a little hesitant about that.
For work or for
For work. Apparently, I'm giving out jobs.
Welcome to the CEO world. Listen, everyone's gonna come to you for a lot of stuff, man. It's not that easy to do that.
Yeah.
So wow, okay, cool. So how much time do you a week would you say you put into this business?
I work at it daily.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've created a system for myself where like, I make sure that the team is where they need to be, and I clock their hours, and I stay in touch with them throughout the day, and I do payroll, and I run and I charge clients and all that, so like I do like I guess the administrative
Yep.
end of that, and they're out on the field cleaning. Do I often go and check up on them? Like, not usually, because at this point we know our clients well. In the beginning I did. I would like accompany them to new clients' homes and things like that, and just kind of like supervise a little bit. But I didn't really have to do that, which was the beauty of this, was that I didn't really have to micromanage.
Okay.
Because, again, they're good at what they do, and I'm good at what I do.
Okay. So your aunt is she like the head
Yeah, she
person?
is.
So she gets she's like the supervisor. She gets to see
Yeah.
and make sure everyone knows what they're doing as
Yeah.
well, and like you send her out. So she doesn't even have to do 90% of the cleaning anymore, but she can if she wants to.
She does.
No, absolutely. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you can do
she-
whatever job you. If you're the
Yeah.
head of the heap, you can
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
Do you have her interview anybody?
No, I take care of all of that, but she's the one that sets the tone on how things need to be done.
Awesome.
Yeah, she has really good hands.
So then let's a little segue over to your other job then, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're the executive assistant at BET. I didn't even know that was still a thing anymore. With like Viacom and all that stuff is
Yeah,
it's just still out. But okay,
Of course,
I don't
still a
have
thing.
TV, so I don't know.
Okay,
I only have
you're not
internet.
in the loop.
No, I'm definitely not in the loop
Uh-huh.
of anything. How is that? Like, how do you work that? So that's a 9 to 5 for you?
It's a all the time.
Or are you working from home still? Too?
I am, I'm
Oh, you
working
are
from
working
home.
from
Yeah,
home,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why you're able to do.
I'm able to do that. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
altogether, you're just flip flopping back and forth throughout
Well,
the day.
I mean, my main job,
yeah.
it's my priority. The cleaning business, like I said, like I check in on it, but like during the weekends and just like even before I launched it, like I have put a lot of things into place because I knew that my job was my priority, and that's my bread and butter, and that's what deserves a lot of my time because I'm committed to that, you know.
Yeah.
So I put things in place for my business, so I don't have to necessarily like, you know, take time off of work to check in or do things like that. So it works, you know.
Do you want to see the business grow more?
Yeah,
Would you
absolutely.
segue away from your primary job in order to make that one grow bigger?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think I have to. I'm tapping into a lot of things that's making the business grow, and at the same time, I'm still doing my job, and I'm still putting in the same hours, and you know, it's working. So I don't see why I would need to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so how do you balance all that then? So that's also another thing I was going to ask.
2
you.
cell phones.
I have.
Oh,
I
yeah, everyone's
witnessed-
got like 2 cell phones.
I witnessed one of the putting out fires moments one morning. They
Yeah.
had trouble getting into like an iced over,
Okay.
what, right? Iced over?
Yeah.
The lockbox for one of the houses.
Lockbox. So yeah, that's another
Rubbing
thing. Like
alcohol.
I'm either like troubleshooting things over the phone.
There you go. I didn't know that.
Rubbing
Rubbing
alcohol.
alcohol.
Use rubbing alcohol to melt ice because alcohol doesn't freeze.
Oh, okay.
So you spray
good.
down with rubbing alcohol and it'll chip away faster. Just in
That's good
case
to
people
know.
didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
you go.
No,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Next winter, let's get it.
I know.
Doing double business.
It's a new business project right there. Like some de-icer made from alcohol. But
Yeah.
so that kind of leads me into like your whole lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're married,
I am.
but full time also, right?
Full
you
time,
still-
yes.
As far as he's aware.
right?
Yep, full time.
You run an entire business that covers a good part of Bergen County, right?
Yep.
And not just any part of Bergen County, like it's like the elite of Bergen County, right? 'Cause
We
you said
have some-
Franklin Lake.
Yeah,
So-
sure.
Well, okay,
Sure.
You said you went to Franklin Lake, so that's to me. There's some bougie people up there.
Okay.
Some.
I said some.
Franklin-
She's looking at me like it's nothing.
Franklin Lakes is French for bougie.
That's. I'm surprised that I'm like, all right. I guess they're not as bougie as I thought.
No,
they were.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I get that the town has that reputation, but our clients are like pretty cool and down to earth.
Okay. Hey, listen, because the people I've met are. So-
I got introduced.
and I've been in the area for a really long time, so I'm like, you're a Franklin.
Where are you
Lakes person.
from?
I live in Dumont, but I'm originally from Rockland County, from Spring Valley.
Oh, nice. You guys are all like.
I grew up in Wyckoff, right next to Franklin Lakes.
Oh, did you? You didn't like go over?
No.
You definitely
I
have
wasn't
friends
allowed.
from there. Who didn't allow you to go over there,
The
Dave?
bougie people.
Oh my God. I don't believe that one for 1 minute.
But then
No,
I also moved to West Patterson, which is now Woodland
It was Woodland Park.
now. Yeah, but I was
Is
the one
it
who
still
was
Woodland
West
Park? I think it's
It
called
is-
something else now.
Patterson. No, it's Woodland Park.
Yeah.
Mike lives there. Mike, our other, he lives there. 'Cause
I mean, I should know this. That's like
the fact that you questioned it.
Yeah,
I was
no.
like, no, I'm telling you.
I think
it's
I
still
heard
Woodland Park.
that it's something. I
Oh,
don't
they're
know.
changing it again?
They shouldn't. It's fine.
I mean,
No one-
I'm
I
not
feel
a
like no one
reliable
uses-
source for that, but I want to say yes.
I feel like no one uses Woodland Park. When you say Woodland Park, it's like, it's West Patterson.
Right,
Just
that's what I
are
said.
we
I still
doing?
call
Yeah,
it
yeah,
West
yeah.
Patterson because that's where
And you live there?
I lived there for several years. Yeah,
That's awesome.
right on the border of Patterson and West Patterson, Squirrelwood, Africa.
Okay.
So yeah,
So that's I don't know the exit on 80, but I know what you're saying.
65.
Yeah.
right there.
So I went to high school. Not that you asked me. But
Please share.
I went to Passaic County Technical Institute.
I know what that is. Yeah,
So we had to like on the bus go through all that
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
so-
to Wayne.
Cool.
Yeah.
So going back to the whole
Yeah.
thing. So full-time wife, running a business and working full-time
Mm-hmm.
as an executive assistant. And you train with Dave.
I do train with Dave.
How many days a week do you guys work out together?
Only
Twice?
once.
Okay, cool. Hey, listen, but that just means you still keep your fitness going, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still working out.
Yeah, she's here
I'm-
way more than that.
I'm still doing like fitness classes during
How
the
many
week.
days a week are you working out?
3 to 4.
3 or 4. That's great. Cool.
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dave,
For
is
you,
it?
is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
good.
just said yeah. He
No, I mean, if he said yeah, then that's cool.
if you said 6, I think you would say that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See?
I think
Yeah,
I
doesn't
think
matter.
You could
I
probably
don't
pull it down a
think
day.
so. I think if I said 5, because don't you work out 5 days a week? I'm putting you on blast now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So if I did more than you, I'd be like, who the hell am I?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why would you compare yourself to that?
I don't know. I'm just talking shit.
Different. So with that, right? How do you balance that entire life and have a regular life also? Like it seems like there's a lot, right? When's your downtime? When is your downtime? What do you do for yourself on those down? Like, how do you keep yourself level-headed? I would go crazy with the business alone.
Yeah, I've had my moments
Right.
where I'm like, I'm shutting the whole thing down.
Right.
Pulling the plug,
Yeah,
wrap
like,
it
I'm
up.
like,
Everyone's going home.
Everyone's going home. Like, we're done here, you know. But then I have to take a step back, detach myself from my emotions, and just say, you know, we're gonna do this. Self-care to me is a big thing. If you ask my husband how much I spend on that, he'd tell you.
So you invest in yourself.
I
then.
invest in myself.
That's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
huge thing.
training with Dave is an investment. So that's my self-care. It's a physical thing, but
Right.
also, you know, I get massages on the weekends.
That's awesome. That's great.
I can give you a list of things I do to take care of
Go
myself.
for it. Listen, we got plenty.
Like,
Yeah.
let me see. I mean, I don't have to think, but yeah, like I get massages. I'll sign up for I signed up for a yoga workshop a couple weeks ago with a friend. Like, I tap into a lot of different things like that.
You meditate?
I do.
On a regular
I
basis,
use
yeah?
my app, something timer. I don't know why I'm blanking out on it now. But yeah, I meditate. Meditation is like a big important part of my life.
Every day?
No, not every day.
Okay.
I do that. I do let the stuff, the everything that you said that was a lot. I do let it kind of take over sometimes. But then I kind of have to remind myself to you know, to just take some time for myself.
No, I
during the
think
day.
you definitely have to do those things because it just shows that the recovery and when you take care of yourself, the better or the more successful you are going to be within yourself.
Yeah.
Who said it best? LeBron James, right? He says he spends $2 million a year on self recovery.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
But it shows that it's only $2 million for him. It's $2 million or anyone that's $2 million, but he can afford it because it helps him. Look at how long has he been in the league now?
19 years.
And now he's
19.
gonna wait to retire, right? Because his son he wants to.
He wants to play with his son for 1 year.
That's the coolest
He
thing
wants to
ever.
wait for his son, and he wants to play for 1
So
year.
cool.
He was ranked.
Who's
just
going to
as-
tell him no?
No, at this point, no. He
Not me.
still has a chance of winning.
$2 million well spent.
Yeah, I think that's that's health is wealth, right? I think it's
Yeah.
a really huge thing for us to really understand and where it all comes from, and how it helps us in life and the longevity of your body, right? I
Yeah.
think that's something that's needed, especially if you're so goal driven, and right, you're so driven in helping women in this business, or helping just empower women, and helping people just empower themselves, helping yourself just to improve life. Am I imagining, or are you going to have kids? Do you plan on having kids? Or yes,
I
right?
do. I plan on having kids, but because I have so much going on right now,
Right.
I'm not ready for that, you know. And I do see it in the near future. Like I'm actually, my husband and I talk about it, you know. But the more I want to just kind of say, yeah, I'm ready, the more I have certain things that I still want to take care of or hit those goals, you know. And I know that I do get judged by that because a lot of people around me right now either have kids or are planning on it. And when I'm asked, I kind of do feel like I have to come up with a new explanation every time. I do want to soon.
You know what a good explanation is?
Dave,
business.
None of your
Dave,
fucking business.
I do want to really soon, but I don't think it's as soon as people
Want
me to, you know. And things are consistently.
What?
He gets it.
Okay.
I know, I get it too, but it's like, woo, shit, you gonna come help me babysit these motherfuckers?
It's usually
Like,
family.
Unbelievable.
It's usually
People
family.
very
waiting
pushy.
for you
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go for it. Usually family wanting you to do it, or your friends wanting you. Hey, when are you gonna have kids? So my kids can have friends. I'm like, hey, not my fault. Your kid has no friends. Like, I don't have to.
I wanna
produce
see
it.
her-
You know what?
I want to see her absorb another cleaning company.
Oh,
Be
that's
so
so great.
successful. She's like, I'm gonna buy you out.
That's that's a goal. So
That'd be huge.
funny thing is that friends are always gonna say that, and family's like, oh, my kid's gonna my sister just had a baby, and when I see my nephew, it's a newfound love that I've never experienced before. I miss him, I love him, it's just such a beautiful thing, And, you know, Danny and I, so my husband's name is Danny. I don't know if we talked about that. AKA the bearded banker.
Got it. Bearded banker.
The bearded banker, yeah. And we talk about it like almost every day because we talk about everything, and we talk about how, you know, what all, like, he has businesses too. So we're kind of also on the same boat. Like, he has a full-time job and has his businesses. I have my full-time job and I have my business, and I have a lot of other things going on too. So, again, it's kind of hard for us to kind of, it sounds bad to a sense, and not to everyone, but I'm just saying, like, if you're like, I kind of want to, like, see how far this can go before
Right.
I, like, tap into that, because I'm very committed. I'm committed in everything that I do. So when it's time for me to say I'm gonna try to get pregnant, because, you know, you always try, hoping that it happens, right? That
I didn't try. It just happened several times already.
how many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Really?
Yes.
That's so fun.
Yeah, 4
Right?
kids.
Is that-
Didn't try. Yeah.
Is that the word you would,
Yeah,
the only
it's
word
like,
you
you're
would
like,
use?
whoa, whoa. Like, again, you know, the experience shows that there are times when it's extremely fun,
Yeah.
and it's always extremely fulfilling. But there's also times where you're like, you wish you had done things, and it sucks because you literally said that they held you back.
It's like, this was not in the job description.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Like, at one point in my life, I really wanted to move to Colorado, right, and just start life completely different out there. Didn't happen, right? It's like, oh, now I'm stuck here.
Was this before you had any of them?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But you have to trust that it was okay that it happened when it did.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
hey, I have no regrets.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the only regrets is meeting one of the moms. But then the baby, I can openly say that because it's one of the hardest relationships I have.
Okay.
Like, it's just like, it's terrible.
Do you work at it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We totally work. It took. So my son's now 11 years old, and it took us 9 years, the first 9 years, to get to a point where we're cordial with each other.
That's good.
Now it's just like we still get into little tips about finances, and I don't like a lot of things she does, but I've accepted and realized how she is already. Like, I literally give everything. I go to the Bronx and pick them up. I go out to the city. I do this and that. I do all the driving. I pay all the bills. I literally pay all the bills. And it's like, it feels so one-sided. But at the same time, I also know he needs his mom.
Yeah,
I'm
of
like,
course.
I'm not going to argue it. Hey, listen, you need your mom. Go to your mom. They get into an argument. He wants to come back. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, Dave has heard several of the stories that I've gone through with this one son, from the hand cutting and all that fun stuff. Like, it's been a whirlwind, right?
Yeah.
So it's being a parent is hard, but it's very fulfilling, especially when you see the little things about them. That's like you. You're like, oh man, that's so me.
Yeah,
right?
that has to be cool.
Oh yeah, like my oldest daughter, smartest mouth in the world. She just so witty. We banter back and forth. I'm like, you're 15, turning 16. Why are you so smart? Right? And I hate it because she gets me. I'm like, oh, you got me on that one. I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Then she just makes me feel old at that point, right? But I sit back and I'm like, that's my daughter. Like, she goes to Bergen Academy. She is one of the smartest kids in the state of New Jersey.
Wow.
How sick is that? How many other people could say that? Like, I could literally say that.
I don't know
Right.
many people that can say that.
So that's, those are the cool things. But I also know that I'm glad I had kids younger, because I also didn't want to be, the whole reason why this podcast is 40 and Fit is because one part is I kept seeing, I meet a lot of the kids' parents from the schools. Looking at the dads that are 40 years old or like our age, I'm like, whoa, what happened to you? Why do you look like that? Like, are you supposed to be 40 or are you like 60 years old at this point? Like, how are you 60 having like a 9-year-old? I literally have said that several times.
But
like,
those are the things that I think about. Because
Right.
in my culture, they're like, they keep, my aunts and my mom, and everyone's like, don't get too old. I'm like, I'm 33 years old. And they're like, oh, you're going to start having trouble if you wait a long time. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Because I prioritize my health and, my self-care. So
well, I also think the medical industry sees that as the problem also, when you go to a doctor. Because I have a client, she just turned 35, and she's 8 months pregnant. 8 months pregnant right now? No. She's got 7 months left. Sorry, that's what it is. And she's 35 and she's considered high risk.
Yep.
Because it's over the age.
Is it just because she's over the age?
Well,
Because I don't even like look into this stuff.
Well, because that's a medical statistic that they're going to treat her like it's
A high
a
risk.
high risk situation. Like she can't do certain things. I'm like, can you do it? She goes, yeah, but the doctor won't let me. Like she had to get permission to train from her doctor just because of her age.
Was she training prior to being pregnant?
Yes.
And she still needed clearance.
Yeah. Well, she just went with what the doctor said. Like again, if you didn't say anything to the doctor, what's going to happen? Well, that's the way she is. She wants permission to do everything for her life. But that's why.
And that's okay, I guess.
But again, it all depends on what you're going to reveal to your doctor. Let's be very real. That's all it is. Because when you get a little scared, it's your first kid. You're very apprehensive about a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Once you get second and third and fourth, like me, I'm like tossing them around like footballs at this point. Like, I don't even care. But yeah, no. Like I'm glad that I had them younger because now they're old enough where they're self-sustained. They don't need a lot. I mean, they ask for a lot because they can talk too much now. But they constantly asking for money. Like on the way here, they're like, "Can we go buy ice cream?" I'm like, "I'm not even in home. Like, what do you want from me?"
We just want the money for the ice
Yeah,
cream.
well, that's what they do. They're like, "Can you just send it
Can
to
you
me?"
just
then?"
Venmo it?
Yeah, well, they have the green light cards where the kids start building credit.
That's really nice.
So we just start putting money into their credit cards, and I'm just like, we got to stop doing that because there's no point. I tried did I say this in the other podcast? When did I say this? I tried to give my daughter a $20 bill.
And she's looking at you like, what
She
is
just
that?
looked at me. Yeah, she did. She's just like, can you put it on the card? I go, it's in front of your face.
Just use it.
Yeah. So I said to her, I go, it's in your face.
Oh my God.
I was like, what do you mean put it on your card? She goes, I don't want to carry it around. Well, then you can't have it. Like, I'm not going to put it on
you
your card.
decide.
Right. So, that's the way the industry, that's the way the world is now.
Yeah.
God,
Right?
what are the times we're living in?
It's weird because, again, I'm glad I'm at this age where
Well,
I'm not too old and I'm not dead, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm not too young where I'm old enough to be able to be above them and understand where they're coming from. They all still think that we're old at this point, like we don't know anything. But I can still keep up with them and I can still have a life. Now, like I could literally we could go away without the kids and be okay with them, like being on their own for like 3 days.
Got it.
So that's why I'm glad I had them younger.
Yeah.
And again, I look at the parents that are like, I don't know if they're 40. They could be, I feel like they should be 40, but they had their kids when they're 60 and they look like they're dead. I think that's the part where it gets weary for me, right? So that's why I'm like, I don't have any problem. I know plenty of people that had kids at 50, but I'm like, you're 60 years old. You got a 10-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
that's scary.
Janet Jackson did it,
Well, that's different.
right? Because she has people to take care of the kids, right?
Yeah. She still looks great. And
She paid for it.
she has the money.
She has the money to pay for it.
So that's good.
That's a big difference.
But, I don't know. So these are all things that I think about,
Right.
And I do get some pressure from friends and family, and it's not because they're like, just do it. It's because they love me, and they're like, we want you to do something like that, and we want you and Danny to create something out of love, and, but as
These
much
businesses, biatch.
as much as I think about it daily, because I think about it daily, and I'm already like trying to plan that things come up and change every day, and and like I mentioned before, this starting a business is a roller coaster, with everything that I have going on. Like some days I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it, and then some days I'm like, I have to really think about this because, like I said, like I'm real committed to everything that I do, and I know that when it's time for me to be a mom, everything else is gonna have to take a back seat. I'm not compromising that. I know that. So I have to think about that. Like, what is now the time to make the choice? And it doesn't mean that I'm saying now is not the time, I'm going to wait another 5 years. It could be like, now is not the time, I'm going to see how my life is in 6 months at the end of the year, And that's kind of where I'm thinking, like, because my husband's going to be like, we didn't talk about that. Like a year, I don't know, but soon enough, just not right now.
No, I totally understand that. And I also get the whole thing of, I'm just not ready. You're never going to be ready.
No,
Even
and
when
I
you're
know,
trying
I get
and
that.
you're ready to go, doesn't even matter. When you get pregnant, like I feel, but I say mothers are they deserve all the money and all the glory in the world
Yes.
because
What else?
they
What else do
they are
we-
they're the hardest working people in the world. They realize keeping a house, keeping kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
Being a dad, it's really hard. Like I was telling Dave, I was walking out the gym today. I go, 2 out of the 4 kids have no school this whole week. The other 2 have no school in 2 weeks. So I got to run back and forth between all of them
Yeah.
just to make sure they get fed and they're not bored out of their mind. And you know, they got to keep up. It's
Wait.
like,
So how many houses? Are there you?
oh, there are 2 different houses.
There are 2 different houses,
There are 2
okay.
different houses. My one son lives in the Bronx, but he's here in Dumont now
Okay.
for the week.
For the week.
And they all live in Dumont, right?
Okay,
So
got
the
it.
3 live together in Dumont. So it's a big thing. They run back and forth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not easy. But again, you know, moms they don't get enough credit, right? And to run a business, to work a full-time job, to be a wife, because that's hey, listen, as the male partner of that marriage part, yeah, man, you still want things. Hey, let's be very real. You still want things, and your partner has to be able to fulfill those things. Otherwise, you just start fighting.
Yeah.
It is. It becomes a big situation, and then you try to have kids. Man, life is. And then once you have kids, everyone's gonna tell you what to do. Everyone tells you what to do. I'm not trying to scare you, right? So I'm just letting you know that
It's not anything I haven't heard.
right, and it's different when you're in it, right? You're just like, I heard about this. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to deal with this part, which always goes back to I realize should be about the self protection. So, you know, keeping yourself, you know, well and ready for anything that happens, right? Which is why I think training with Dave is a good thing. It's also like a tension relief or a stress reliever.
Yeah.
Right, I
for
think
sure.
that's a huge thing. You meditate, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's great. It keeps you level-headed. I don't know, does it? Or,
No, it does.
I've tried it. It doesn't
I'm
really
also
do for me.
certified as a yoga instructor, but
Wow,
yeah,
what'd you do that for? Just because you were bored too?
just
You're like,
because.
hey, I have another job. What's the
No,
point?
no. Listen, I'm
Really?
not trying to pile on jobs, but I've always enjoyed yoga, and I just wanted to take my practice to the next level. So I did that in 2018, and coming out of it, I was like, I thought I wanted to teach, and I was like, oh, I'm
Got it.
gonna teach because I saw everyone else around me teaching, especially like my group, and you know when you're going through your course, they tell you, not all of you guys are gonna teach and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah.
But thank you for your money.
Yeah. It's like, no, seriously. But I was like, no, I'm going to. I'm gonna go for that. Like I'm gonna try it. And I just couldn't connect. I tried a lot. I tried many times. I did auditions, and they'd have these spots on Saturdays where like anyone could just come and teach, you know, for no money or whatever, and I would sign up all the time. And I was like forcing this thing because I would like, if I had to teach on Saturday, I would start writing my class on a Monday. And I was like, this is not fun. So
I think that's just reps, man. When you start do you program a week ahead of time anymore?
No.
No.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing. Like we
Did
got
you
into-
ever?
In the past, I have.
In the past, I
not
would
really a
take-
week. I would have done like the day before, get ready for the next day. For
I used
everyone.
to in Montville. I used to take all the client files home like the night before. Everyone I had the next day, and I would put their workouts together.
Yeah,
and
straight
then
up, I've done that.
and just
before,
follow
yeah.
them the next day.
Yeah, so that prep part, but after that point, and a certain
Yeah.
time, and when you do this enough times, like people ask me, like, you don't carry a clipboard? I go, I know exactly what number you're on. I know exactly where you go through. I know.
A clipboard.
Yeah, as a trainer, most places want you to carry a clipboard.
We used to have to carry
Imagine
clip-
like
clip-
you were walking around with a clipboard. I might like laugh.
I had
I
a
might laugh.
Doesn't Warren have a clipboard?
my clipboard at Montville had a Stark Industries thing on it, so everyone knew it was mine. I didn't use it for anything other than
But
for
what is
show.
on this clipboard? Like your
The programs.
Sometimes the
clients.
programs. Eventually, I just kept. I just had the signature sheets on there. I didn't really keep the programs in there. They were all in
Okay.
my head. I know what we're doing.
You have
I
to
know
also
we're-
understand, like, so we come from an industry where, well, back in the day, these things were required for 20 years ago. Like I said, we've known each other for 20 years.
I have never heard of that.
Oh yeah, for back in the
I'm
day.
thinking about like a coach, like a football.
Guys, we're gonna run the
The play-by-play.
Yeah.
But it's basically a planned out program.
Yeah.
the
That's all it
doubleheader
is.
Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Whatever we're running.
Yeah,
today.
so
Blue 42.
right? The wishbone, right? But yeah, we technically, it's weird. You should have record of all your workouts because this is a weird topic, it has nothing to do with anything, but when I was at West Caldwell New York Sports Club, two of our trainers got sued by their clients. They got hurt during sessions or whatever it may be. And I had to go to court for New York sports clubs as to represent the manager, and they asked me all these questions.
Even
like,
with the liability waivers.
even with liability, they want to see everything. So they wanted to see the eval form that was signed. Then they wanted to see the actual program written out, and if the client was actually doing the exercise that was planned out for them, and if it was conducive to what the client's plan was. And I was like, this is a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of us didn't carry that stuff around with us. So we're like, I'd either write it after, or I just wouldn't write it at all. At a certain point, we just know everything. Like, I just know everything. I don't know. It's just embedded into our heads on how we do this stuff now. I don't know why it's not enforced anymore. I don't know if it's still a big thing. I don't know how the liability works anymore. I just know that it's programming is, if you don't know how to program, period, you should just write stuff down. Which completely segued from whatever we were talking about.
No, it all falls in line with the same thing. I was just like too fixated on making sure I was teaching the perfect class that it took away from all of it. And I was like, I was also in a studio where things were done a certain way, and I thought that I had to be exactly that. And then I realized, because the irony was that the same teachers were like, you need to find your voice. And I'm like, what? Like, what does that mean? Like, I get it. Like, I hear you, but I just, I don't know how to find my voice with making sure that I follow all your guidelines. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, if Dave is like, Laura, this is my program, teach it, but I guess, throw your style in there.
Yeah.
I still feel like I have to, personally I'd have to, make sure that Dave is satisfied and that I'm doing it just like Dave. And I think that was, my conflict, where I was like...
Your teaching the perfect class was preventing you from finding your voice.
Yeah, from, being myself. And so I was like, clearly I'm Andrew, what's going on?
No, that's why you guys get along. He's the king of that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You hear me talk like this all the time. Don't act like you're surprised.
No, I know, but what do you mean exactly? Whatever, we'll get to it later. So I just kind of was like, I'm going to take a back seat on this because it's not sitting well with me right now. So, I got into it because I like to practice. I still meditate. I still practice on my own. I'm taking the yoga class here now with my friends. So I'm slowly getting back into it, but it was just something that I was mad at it for a while.
That makes sense.
That
Like you
happens.
shied away from it because you were upset with, you just couldn't get it right, and you're like, it's not for me, type of thing.
Yeah,
I
and
get
it might be for me. I believe things come full circle, so I'm certified.
It's only a
whatever.
2-year certification, right?
I think so. I gotta renew it.
So it doesn't matter. All right, so let's do quick questions about you train with Dave. How long have you guys been training together?
I don't
At
know.
least a
Actually,
year.
Dave doesn't have a clipboard, but he has a binder.
I do have a binder. It's got my logo on it and everything.
Yeah,
It's fancy.
that I have to sign off after every training session.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That makes sense.
Yeah,
The
that's all that
clipboard
makes sense.
thing, we might have to go back to that. I just didn't understand.
I want to see all my workouts, Dave. I want to see exactly.
Yeah, Dave,
I want to see my progressions.
But I guess it makes sense because sometimes I'm like, Dave, how do you know that I'm? Because he'll be like, you're doing great. Like you're getting stronger, and I'm like, yeah, okay. How do you know? And he's like, I know.
Because I watch her.
Yeah. I'm
And
like, how do you know?
when it gets easy, I'm like, oh. What I love it when clients are like, this is so hard. Am I getting any stronger? I'm like, yeah, because every time you do, I push you harder,
Right.
and you don't always notice.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm
never
doing.
noticed.
Yeah, you guys never know when we change things.
No, he's like Houdini in that sense.
Because we move the pin differently. It's all the time.
Like,
It's weird because
Yeah.
my clients do the same thing. They're like, "Why is it so different?" I go, "Because I just added 10 pounds. That's all we
Yeah.
did. Your form is fine. Yeah, you feel the resistance. You're improving."
yeah.
But I have clients, my private clients. They want to see the program. They want me, so I literally put it. I have it all on my phone. I have 100 sessions straight of just programming
Yeah.
to
You should
show
probably
them.
sell that.
Well, it's pretty comparable to him and his lifestyle and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't just do it just for anyone. It's a little different,
It's
but
different.
but it's custom to him. That's why, and not everyone has his issues and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
Got it.
So you guys have been training for just over a year.
Yes.
A little under a year.
I'd have to go back to the binder.
He has to go
look-
back to the
look- to look for the original date, but
So how did you guys you did the eval? Was it that, or this was here?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think did Narit set it up?
No, Jenna did.
Okay.
I said, I needed like a trainer.
Were you a member here prior for a while? Or
No, just like when I started, because you do get remember it was,
Yep,
I
you
was,
get the
intros,
you
yeah,
get
intro.
the free intro with the trainer. So I know that I hate working out by myself.
Got it.
Like, I'm never going to push myself to my limits by myself.
Well, so real quick before you get to it, why did you pick this gym?
Because I live across the street.
Oh, that part I didn't know. Convenience. So it's a convenient thing.
Convenience.
God, it's a convenient thing.
But also, because there's a gym in my building.
You look at that golf tech, where they have that golf thing? Is that-
No,
The
no, next
brownstone.
door.
Oh,
No, the brownstone's across the street.
You live on the other side.
the other side.
the Vivian.
Yeah.
the Vivian.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
across Route 4. That's
Yes.
Natty's building. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Apartment 205, anyone's wondering?
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
was
kidding.
gonna really just
that's not it.
giving out my address.
So you get a Panera Bread every day.
I know. I've never been to that Panera.
Really?
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
excellent.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, I know. You talk about
They
it.
closed
sometime.
the Anthony's Cold Pizza.
I'm so upset about that.
I saw that just
Did you
now.
guys go there?
No, but I mean, it's pizza. Why wouldn't I?
Oh my god.
They closed all the Anthony's Cold Pizza.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Did
There's
they?
one on 17.
There's one on
Where?
in
Isn't it right
Fairlawn.
by
In Ramsey? It's closed.
Really?
Yeah, it's
The
now,
one
it's
in-
now,
here.
it's now Kava.
Oh, Kava's good.
Yeah, it's some other food Kava.
No, there's Anthony's in Fairlawn.
Oh, on Route 208.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Really? Who is he?
Anthony?
He's making a
Guy makes pizza, I guess.
Yeah,
Never
it's
met
really
him.
good. So they closed it. That was upsetting. So I live across the street. Fine. I mean, I've been living across the street for years, and I never.
And I know the gym in the Vivian. I actually had one client there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did at one point when I was with gym guys. So there's like 5 treadmills on one side, and there's like a whole line of equipment on the other
On the other
line. It's a
side.
really small. It's the size of this room.
Yeah.
Literally the
it's-
size of this room.
It's really small.
Yeah, it's really small. And you can
But-
see the pool from the.
Yes, from
yeah.
there. And there, I mean, I ride the Peloton there. The building has 2 Pelotons, which is so convenient. So I'm into it. So I was doing that for a while. I was doing fitness, group training classes in other locations in the area. And Jenna
What,
has,
Class Pass?
no,
you were
I
just
think
going to-
Class Pass is only a New York thing.
What? Oh, I don't know.
But I've definitely been to a lot of places around.
Okay.
And I've tried some things online during the pandemic, which I think that's how I really like messed my back up, Dave. Just like throwing weights around in my little office room thing that we have. It's a multi-purpose room at this point. So my friend Jenna, who I worked with at another company about 8 years ago, always posted coming here. And we would just like DM each other, like, oh, she's like, you should come by. You really like the classes. Because I think Jenna and I actually went to the gym once or twice when we were working together. I do remember that. So she would always say, like, oh, I think you'll like the classes. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll give it a shot. And what I like about this place is that you just have so many classes to pick from. So when I finally decided to sign up, I already had that aspect nailed down. Like, I have the group fitness classes that I like. I know which ones to go to. I have my friends here that I, go to classes with. I'm not trying to figure this out on my own. And then I said, but I like to train one-on-one. And I've had some like really cool trainers in the past and like really good ones. And I think that throughout the years I've gotten like better trainers because now I know what I'm looking for, as opposed to just kind of being like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Like now I have my parameters, and if you can't meet that, then I'm not working with you. So Jenna was like, oh, you should train with Dave. He's great. And I was like, okay, cool.
Which is funny because I've never trained Jenna once.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Did you give her a kickback? Be like, hey. Thanks.
I think they're still working that out on the back end, right, Andrew? So, so we started. So I remember the first day.
The only thing I was interested in hearing was, she's like, I had a trainer, pushed me really hard, but she was like, I think they would push me too hard. She's like, I was always injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Oh, that was blatantly obvious.
and I was like, in my brain, I was like, I'm your guy.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because I don't ever like to like badmouth anyone. You know, I think that everyone that I have worked with in the past are like great at what they do, but it might have also been my perspective, like, or me not being able to speak up, or my perspective in the fact like I want to keep up with you. I think that was my thing too when I was younger. Like I just wanted to keep up with the trainers and be like, oh, if you can do it, I can do it, and whatever you assign me to do, I'm gonna do it and crush it and kill it. Like pound weights on my back, who cares?
So was that you hurting yourself or the trainer?
I don't know.
It's both.
It's
right?
both.
Yeah,
You
being
know,
too competitive with yourself.
absolutely. Or like going to like this something that I hate, and I know a lot of people do it, but this is not my thing, and I had to understand that was not my thing. Like 5 a.m. workouts, it's not my thing. 6 a.m. workouts, they're not my thing. Like it stresses me out more to get to that workout. You know, so like at that point, I feel like I'm actually doing the reverse of what I'm supposed to be doing here. You know, so things like that, just kind of like learning that you don't have to do everything that everyone's doing.
Right.
You have to kind of like make sure that it works for you. And that's part of like what you were talking about of like self-care and stress relief and all that. Like when I see Dave, I am here to work on my body, but it's also like I don't have to think about anything else.
Right.
Although I am walking around with 2 phones.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but sometimes when I don't walk out with them, he's like, "Where are your phones?" I'm like, "Not today." You know. It depends on what's going on, but I'm able to do both, I guess.
Oh, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's unique. So you picked this place. You picked Dave because you love the classes. What are the features of this specific facility? I mean, you've obviously worked out at other gyms, right? In comparison to other facilities, what would you say the pros and cons are that you would recommend for this place then?
I think it's the variety of classes. That is not just one program, one thing, one method. I think, and you know what I love? That it's people of all ages. Like when I walk in here, like no one's judging me. I'm not judging anyone. Like we're not all the same age, and they're, you know, I see people of all ages.
So
is
we're
what
not
I'm
even
trying
all
to
the
say.
same age in this room.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think in a lot of gyms they try to like push this certain like look
Demographic, yeah,
and
no, look, yeah,
demographic
totally, yeah.
and all of that. And here I don't see any of that, and I like that. And as much as I see people like come in with their friends, because I remember going to a gym where like I feel like people like it was like high school, like they had their posses and things like that, and that was intimidating. So imagine already like feeling like vulnerable to go into a gym, doing workouts, and then thinking about like, oh, am I being judged because I didn't make friends with these people? I don't know. It was just like weird to me. And here I'm just like, I come in, I do my classes. It's, you know, the trainers and the teachers are so like motivating. It's such a great, it really is a great place. And that's why I'm so like happy to talk about it, because I feel really comfortable here.
No, that's
You know?
I have to
And
say,
the bar downstairs is like the best.
Juice bar.
The juice
by
bar.
the way, yeah. There's no Hennessy being served there, as far as I know.
No alcohol, but yeah, like the front desk. I actually know. I went to high school with Francis. I don't know if you know Francis.
Whoa, really?
oh, at the front desk.
At the front desk,
Oh, I was like,
yeah.
who's
That's
Francis?
news to
Yeah.
So, you know, it's about having of seeing familiar faces too. You know, going back to me knowing Jenna, I run into a high school friend, and I remember being like, I know you, and I don't want to come off rude because right now I can't remember your name, but I know you. Like, what's up, girl? How you doing? Like, how's life? And it was like, okay, I'm meant to be here. You know.
Did she remember your name? Or did she already have
not-
it like on your paperwork?
Not right. I don't know. Maybe. Well, you know, it's funny because I already had scanned my key card by
Oh.
the time I saw her, so she could have gotten away with that if she didn't remember my name.
So, do you do nutrition with her too? Do you guys do nutrition?
Oh,
together
we're
too?
about to tap
We're
into that.
about to.
Yeah.
We're
Oof.
going deep.
I think so, but you know, we've been
We'll
doing
find
this
out.
in-body thing for a while, and Dave is really confused on some number.
You're confused on the number?
No, I'm not confused. Just I was doing some math. I think her hydration threw the numbers off a little bit. So I'm trying to explain to
Well,
her.
that makes sense.
And I'm like, am I fat or what's going on here?
Hydration just through water
No, I know,
retention?
but you know.
No. How
the-
it would affect how the in-body.
Oh, the
reads.
antibody. So, yeah, electrolyte, yeah.
Mm.
It would just make it.
I said
make
that
it
because
fatter.
he's like crunching numbers, and I'm like, Dave, just tell me that I need to lose something.
I was in my Bill Nye the Science Guy mode in here, and she's like, I could tell she was looking at what I was doing. She's like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Then I explained it to her, and I'm like, we'll just do it again next week.
There's a lot of numbers here, and I'm like, oh my god, because we're working on certain things and areas, and he was
It's your
just
program now,
he was
yeah.
just going through all these numbers. I'm like, just
Dave's just really detailed, which is
tell
what you
me
need,
if I'm
though.
over what I need to be or what, you know. And he's like, I can't right now. I really have to focus on these numbers.
I was like, you know what you need? Patience.
And then I was like, okay, Pete, gotta go. Yeah.
All right, so you're redoing most of the nutrition? Okay, whatever.
We're
You're gonna
tapping
do-
into that. I
Okay.
don't want to get too obsessive about it because as I shared this with Dave, I did a beauty pageant
How long ago was this?
years ago. That's like my little claim to fame, right? This
Okay.
little like
Like in Patterson?
no, not
Oh.
in Patterson, but
In DR?
it's called Miss RDUS, and it was uptown in the Heights,
Okay.
and it was
Oh, okay.
was for
Miss RDUS.
Miss República Dominicana USA.
All right.
So that means that I'm from DR, but I live here, basically, you know. So, or I represent.
That's a really long
I know.
title.
Yeah, I'm trying to like simplify it, but I did a Dominican pageant. Is
Got
what
it.
I'm trying to say. Okay.
Out of the Heights. Out of Washington Heights.
I'm
New
in
York.
Washington
Got it.
Heights, and I was so like into it, right? And of course you want to win, but then once you're in it, you're like, I've done so much work. If I don't win, I don't care. Like it's all good, right? Like it's
You just got to the end.
I got there. Like I did what I had to do. So it was a lot of like self development and things like that, and you know weight was a big thing. And I grew up like I've always been in some kind of fitness. Like I grew up dancing, and then I eventually started going into like you know working out at the gym and things like that. So that part I felt like I could nail it, but it they wanted you to like go above and beyond of like you were gonna be in a bikini. You had to like give it your all, you know. So I had to make sure I had a trainer at that time. I had to make sure that I was following the program and I wasn't eating this and eating that. I remember my trainer at the time. He said, "Oh, what did you eat this week?" And I said, "Oh, I went to Blimpies, and I had a sandwich with turkey and cucumbers." And he said, I didn't tell you to eat that. That's not good. And I'm like, how? It's turkey and cucumbers. And he's like, yeah, but the bread. And I was like, wow, like this is, when you think you're doing good and you're like.
He was wrong. It was fine.
Right.
But in that time, you're like, oh, you're right. Like I shouldn't even be eating bread. And I remember like even drinking alcohol. Like I don't drink a lot, but I remember even then they were like, you shouldn't drink any alcohol. If you're gonna drink alcohol, you just drink tequila and soda.
I love that.
And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? But whatever, I did it. It was one of the best things I've ever done because it just helped me so much as a person. And then I realized that like after that,
Did you win?
No, but I got Miss Congeniality.
Sandra Bullock.
Right? I was going to
Yes.
say.
And I came in, I did top 10. So that was good enough for me. Like, you know.
Hey, you did it.
I did it.
How many other girls can say they did it?
I did it, and I gained so much knowledge on myself, and I know, like moving forward from that, like I knew what I had to work on for myself, you know, regarding fitness and things like that, and I made such a great group of friends, like girls that are still my friends now. So it was such a great thing that I did, and after that, I told Dave, like I was like, well, you know, these are the things that I want to work on, but I also recognize that I compare myself to that girl still.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like in tip-top shape, but it was because I was going to do a competition,
Right.
you know?
It wasn't a lifestyle at that point.
No. It was a little bit of a lifestyle thing because like making the adjustments was not that hard. You know, I was always into fitness in some way, but that was just like extreme. And then after that, I was just like, oh my God, like this is tough. You know, this keeping up with this daily, consistently is it's a lot.
Yeah.
So when I meet a new trainer and we're working together, I like to share those things because at least like where my little qualms come from. Where you're looking at me and you're like, you're fine. You just got to work on this and that. And I'm like, is it that simple? Because in my mind, it was never that simple. I had to you had to walk around with that clipboard.
I fired the complete panel of judges, so she's got nothing to worry about.
Thank you. So.
Oh, that's a great story. Hey, listen, you did something that most people could say they didn't do. Right?
Yeah.
That's huge. When it comes to fitness in itself, right? How much of fitness do you think plays into being a good entrepreneur?
I think a lot. I think that people probably downplay it because they're really busy. And it's very easy to say, like, I don't have time because I'm grinding and I'm growing my business and I'm making money and I'm this and that. So they put, like, their fitness and their self-care on the back burner. But it's actually the opposite. Like, you have to make sure that you make time for all of that. Because how am I going to fill up your cup or pour so much energy into my business or whatever I'm doing if I'm not taking care of myself? I'm just going to run myself to the ground.
Right.
You know? So there is an aspect of wanting to look a certain way as a woman, but initially it's for like longevity. It's so I could have the capacity to be able to do all the things that I do, that I'm internally fit as well. So I don't have to be like training for a competition, but as long as I am working on myself, I remember like in Nareed's class, she always says something about you work hard so like you can eat, and something, I don't want to like quote her.
Like a day's face.
No, she's like, you have to be able to feed your metabolism is what she says.
That's better.
Ooh. Yes, so she always says that,
I
and
was about to get her on the phone.
no, she's like, you have to feed your metabolism, and she always talks about like proper form or building muscle for your bones and things like that. And maybe I don't really get it at the moment, but I think about it later. And going back to your question, like being physically strong helps your mentality.
Right.
So then you're able to have the capacity to do everything else, and the energy too, because
Right.
working out gives you energy. So it's just like a win-win. But I think that it's easy for people to just say like, oh, I don't have the time for that, or, but it's also, it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
That's why I hate that rise and grind mentality and like team no sleep. It's like, you need a balance. You need to take care of yourself, make sure you're fueling yourself properly. It's like, or else how am I going to push the engine to go?
Right.
With nothing.
Be crashing all the time.
Yeah.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, what advice do you have for, let's say, up-and-coming women that want to start a new business or start their own business, still working, balance of life? What type of advice do you have for those guys, girls?
Girls.
Yeah.
Specifically for women, and I was actually thinking about this on my way here. Like, I think that my message for women is just like, have something for yourself. Like have an identity outside of your relationship. Have an identity. Have something, to call your own. If entrepreneurship is what you want to do, make sure that it's something that that makes sense to you and that you're passionate about it. So when I speak to women specifically, because now I'm thinking this is a loaded question because I don't have kids, so I have the advantage that I was able to do this now, and I can dedicate time, and I can multitask a lot of different hats, and wear a lot of different hats and have my hands in a lot of things. But I'm also thinking for the women that maybe don't have necessarily the time. I think that if you want to start a business, look at it as doing something for yourself and just dedicate a little bit of time a day to get it done. Create a to-do list, and maybe once a day or once a week, just get one thing off. And before you know it, you'll have your name, you'll have your LLC, you'll have, you'll have your uniforms picked out, and I'm just giving you an example of like
list,
my
basically.
to-do list,
Yeah.
You'll have your products picked out, you'll have your schedule made, just don't be so hard on yourself in in doing everything at once. That's not how things happen. I created my LLC 2 years and a day before I launched my business. And I gave it to the universe. I said, this is what I want to do. This is the intention behind it. And we'll see what happens. So, if you want to do something like this, or whatever it is that you want to start slow, but organized.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your message about people that have?
Well, before
Yeah.
you do, I think when she said it's a loaded question, right? Because she doesn't have kids and
Yeah.
she's afforded the chance and
The
the
chance,
opportunity.
yeah.
It's like while it is true, I think, and this is unpopular opinion, but fuck it, whatever. I think there's too many women out there who let being a parent, being a mother, define them completely. And they lose sight of the fact that they can still be a parent, be a mother, be a partner, and still do their own thing. And I think that regardless of whatever Laura's situation is, other women can look to that and be like, she did it. It's like her husband has a full-time job and he has his own businesses. So they're rowing in the same boat,
Right.
and hopefully in the same direction. So just because it's not kids doesn't mean that they don't have other things taking their attention. And she's still able to juggle the whole thing. And I think if you were to ask any mother at whatever age the children are to write their resume, their life resume, would they only write mother? No, there's a fucking 1,000 other things that define them on who they are. And I think that someone like Laura, again, regardless of whatever her personal situation is, I think can try to be that example for like, no, I am all these things, and I can do whatever I feel I can when the time is right, obviously. But I think that to be able to do your own thing, you should understand that your identity can be whatever you want it to be, and it's not just one thing that makes you who you are.
Yeah.
And I think she shows a lot of that with all the stuff that she has going on,
Cool.
whether it's a family or not.
Do you agree?
I do, and because, I thought about those women right away that have kids, and I said, well, who am I to give someone advice when I don't necessarily know, I don't know that role just yet, but I can just imagine that it's tough and that it is hard to juggle a lot of things, especially kids and starting a business. And that's why my advice is to start small, because before you know it, you'll have everything. You have the hardest, you have built the foundation. The hardest thing will be out of the way, and then the next part will be easier to handle,
That's
and
cool.
and I am a firm believer of having your own thing outside of your relationship, and having something to call your own has felt really good for me, and to share it with my family has been even better. It's just so cool. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that we're here and it's done and it happened and it's happening.
Right.
I remember just being so scared to go through that first week. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait till the first week is over. I was just like, oh my God, the first week, and now weeks come and go, and and we're growing and all of that, and I just still can't believe it. So, you can do things if you just put some work behind it.
Cool. One last question.
Sure.
Your take on how failure. What's your
Okay.
take on it?
Just
It's starting the business or life in itself.
failure.
I'm big on the entrepreneurship and failure. So
Yeah. I don't think that I recognize my fear of failure until I'm reminded, until I want to quit, until I'm I'm going to shut the whole thing down. And it's funny because my husband, he challenges me in a lot of ways, and he's always playing devil's advocate, and he's like, do it.
yeah.
You don't have anything to lose. Your aunt wasn't, she'll be fine. Just kill it. He's like, we'll be fine. What do you need to keep it for? And I'm like, no,
So when you're mad, you're like, you're supposed to tell me to not do it.
Yeah, you're supposed to tell me to not do it. So I never think about it until I know that it my ego will be bruised. I don't want to fail at anything or that or whatever, but I guess I'm not really reminded until I'm at my knees or my wit's end, and I'm like, do I do this or not? And then I think about the failure. I'm like, oh my God, will I? And it's not always like I'm gonna fail. It's always like, am I a failure, and will I look like a failure?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and to who, and who gives a fuck, right? Like, whatever, I did it, I tried it. It's hard, and I can talk about that.
Right.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's a big one.
You know, so failure, you know, it can only affect me if I let it. So that's what I think right now. Tomorrow it could change because again, this is a roller coaster.
No, good. That's an awesome answer. Well, we got to close out at this point.
We
So
do.
we
I'm
do.
having so much fun.
Unfortunately, we got to close out. But just let everyone know, you know, about your business, where they can reach you, how they can find you, what areas you.
Where they can hire you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you guys can check out www.tiashousekeeping.com. So it's TIAS housekeeping.com. So that is our website, and there's a big button that says book now, and then you'll be prompt to our booking system, where there you can actually book your appointment, get a free estimate, and just kind of get familiar with our pricing, right? So that's where you can find us online. I do have an Instagram page, so it's at diashousekeeping.com. I mean, sorry, not .com. At Diaz Housekeeping on Instagram, and there you can check out our work. So I have reels and pictures and videos and everything related to the business.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Sure.
So, if you had advice that you could give to people that were maybe transitioning away from their current housekeeper,
Okay.
and they like what you're about, they want to hire you, but they don't want to necessarily fire their housekeeper.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them in terms of steering the conversation, and how would you go about it?
Is your question like if you said if they want to hire me, but they don't know how to fire their current housekeeper?
Yeah, transitioning.
Transition? Okay. So I've had this happen to me where people are very transparent, you know, and it's always a common thing where it's just something that I always nail down on my women. Like I always remind them of this. Like the biggest complaint that people have about their current housekeepers is always that they started off really good, and then along the way they kind of just got real comfortable, and we're no longer consistent.
Right.
You know, and you have to be consistent in everything you do, right? You gotta keep like the kids say, keep the same energy, sis. Like keep that energy. So I always remind my team, like we can't, and it could happen, but like we can't let people say that about us. Like you guys have to keep doing what you're doing. Like be as excited as you were the first day that you met this person, and even though maybe you see them once a week, every other week, once a month, like still clean their house like you did the first day. Like don't ever lose track of that. So my advice to people that are that I assume are no longer happy with their cleaning people because of something like that, because it's just not the same anymore, they're not cleaning like they used to, that just try us once. Like I'm not I'm not obligating you to sign a contract to stick with me. You can try me once, because that's my advice to anybody that wants to check us out, because I have people that call and they're like, I need you to come once a week, I need you to come every other week, and I'm like, whoa. You don't even know if you like the way we clean. I'm confident that you'll like it, but I need you to test it out first. So without any strings attached, just give us a shot, and then we can talk after that, all right? So, and if you don't like how we clean, no worries. No feelings are hurt. And if you like how we clean, but you're still not ready to let go of your lady, we're always here. Like, no problem. I think it's also just a matter of having that conversation and just maybe like reminding that person, like, hey, you used to be really good. I don't know what happened. Do you want to talk about it? I'm in the midst of looking for another company. I don't know. It just depends on the relationship too, like how much you want to share. Some people are just like, I got rid of her and I'm done. And I'm not here to take anybody's job.
Right.
I don't want that. So I always say, give another company a shot to test the waters. And if you like them, then you make that change. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah. It's great. I think it's great.
All right, cool. So with that being said, we are done. We're cutting ourselves off. So thank you for being on the podcast. Truly appreciate all your insight, your knowledge, your experience. Love it so
you.
much. We'll see you at the gym. So at that point,
You will.
say goodbye, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Peace
you so
out.
much for having me.